Ranging from joyful, kind saints to manipulative devils, human traffickers, nuclear tyrants, and downright psychotic villains. I'm gonna be ranking them from the goodest of the good to the worst of the worst. This is part 2 of this series, so if you haven't seen part 1, check it out and then come back to watch. Starting this video off, we continue with Basketball. Basketball is a leader that tries to do the right thing. She's encouraging of people's ideas, like Snowball's idea in TPOT 3, and she's supportive to Robot Flower, being the only one that's really kind to her.
Huh? That's not true.
It kinda is.
However, Basketball is a bit of a control freak and doesn't like when things don't go her way. We see how angry and kinda crazy she gets in Teapot 1 when Snowball does his own thing. Or in Teapot 2, Basketball gets angry when Eggy doesn't do what she wants. Basketball has also had a conflict with Golf Ball, and it's really been her starting it. She's the one talking down to Golf Ball about shapes and stealing her inventions. I get Golf Ball was never the nicest, but 2 wrongs don't make a right.
It's our teams now. Good luck, though.
Basketball still has the best intentions and cares deeply for people. For example, Basketball wanted Robot Flower to be happy, so while it ended poorly, she put in the work to give her what she wanted. And when it went wrong, Basketball spent her time trying to fix her.
I'll bring you back, Robot Flower. I'll bring you back.
When faced with one, Basketball did make the decision to stop the storm and help Robot Flower. We're not exactly sure what she sacrificed when signing that contract, but whatever it is, Basketball had chosen to suffer the consequences for the greater good. Now let's take a look at Donut. Now, originally, I did have Donut much higher as we see him focus on others rather than himself. He cares for Barf Bag, he stands up for what is right, and he makes sure his entire team isn't controlled by Golf Ball and has a voice. But Donut, he just always seems pissed off.
What is going on? Grr! Immediately! Why did you do that? What?
He never seems like he's doing anything because he's this kind-hearted, frolicking angel. He's doing it with reluctant annoyance and going into everything with an angry mood. It's like helping the homeless and then you're pissed off while doing it. Sure, noble cause, doing stuff for others, but damn, why are you so angry? And you can't forget, he and Penn betrayed their alliance with Fanny in Teapot 8. But going back to the good of Donut, in Teapot 17 we see him stand up to one, which shows courage, and he obviously does care, making sure the contract doesn't hurt anybody. Following up is TV. TV has always offered to use his screen for good, like to show voting results for 2 or helping Golf Ball and Tennis Ball display strategies and statistics. And he's let multiple people ride him several times. In Teapot 9, Pro sacrificed himself so that Eraser and Teardrop could climb up the vent. And Teapot 12, he offered Tennis Ball some calm vibes after he was split from Golf Ball. In Teapot 13, he went out in the storm as a distraction. Also, you gotta give TV credit for creating this banger. In Teapot 5, TV convinces Robot Flower to blow up the submarine. I'm not gonna sit here and say TV wanted what's best for mechanical minds because I think that's a complete lie. TV wanted to blow up the submarine to sabotage the other team. He wanted his team to win, so he manipulated Robot Flower to sabotage her own ship. In Teapot 17, TV wanted revenge and used a machine to deceive others, which is interesting because that was apparently their whole reason for blowing up the submarine, because the machine was used to deceive others. Finishing off, we have Tree. Tree might be in the running for one of the most difficult characters to rank on this list. He's a Death Pact member, right? So he should easily be morally good, right? I mean, he always makes sure to recover Bottle, and he focused on preventing death and the greater good, like in Teapot 4, right?
How could we lose sight of our main mission, preventing death?
This was also the same dude in the exact same episode.
It's time to die.
What's going on here? Why is Tree enjoying it? And following through Teapot, when Fanny suggested they stop preventing death, it seemed Tree was against it, especially when you see the consequences of Black Hole not having that pullout game. But recently, it feels like Tree don't give a damn no more. Shoving Bottle and Eraser down a pit to their death, shoving TV out of the elevator saying he's gotta prioritize life. I mean, judging by how happy he was to cut a flower in Teapot, I think Tree has secretly been craving the feeling of murder for a long time now. But then again, you also gotta consider how loyal and supportive he is to his friends. He's been happily by Marker's side, and he was nicest to Pen when she felt like an outsider. And that's gonna wrap up the tarnished kindness category. Now we'll transition to the gray area. The gray area are characters that are not kind, but aren't super mean. They live day to day with no distinct moral path, or just have so many counteracting actions that it's just gray area at that point. We'll start with the most fitting gray area contestant, Pie. Pie is in Death Pact, which means she does fight for a noble cause, but she's very emotionless and lacking empathy in her tone. Or if she does show emotion, it's either sass or some type of annoyance. Like when she snapped at Pen, yelling at him for wanting to leave Death Pact, and when she was rude to Marker at the cake and steak. Pie also left Just Not in the elevator when they were asking for help, suggesting that they're not dying right at the moment, so she should just ignore them. Sounds like the good old American healthcare system to me. I lie by Pie. Lie's best showcase of kindness is her helping Pen control and show his emotions, which is nice and supportive. But if there's one thing I notice about Lie every time she's on screen, she always has a damn attitude about everything.
If you all want them to lose so badly, why don't we all team up to stop them from winning? You're trying to make us lose on purpose.
She also came in with this misplaced resentment towards Death Pact, and now assuming the worst of Black Hole. And continuing with her personality, if she's curious about something, sure, she's determined to find more about it, but at the expense of anyone that helps her get there, like when she threw Match into the waterfall in Teapot 11. Next up is good old Nickel. We believe Nickel belongs in the gray area because his personality is so off and on. One second he'll be positive and think on the bright side, like saying garbage is valuable in Teapot 3. And then the next he'll complain about how all they have is debris in Teapot 5. He switches to pessimistic to optimistic so often, it's hard to know where to rank him. He'll go crazy and rage about losing, and then the next second he's saying oogly poopy dinky slurp while happily frolicking. How am I supposed to rank that? And how is he holding himself upside down? You must have some strong grippers. Moving along, let's talk about Belle.
Warm up, every paddle shed the ice.
Yeah, I'd smash.
Bruh.
Belle is a very emotional girl, and I can, in fact, handle all that.
Bruh.
In Teapot 2, for example, she freaks out on a racer, violently begging someone to kill him, and later screams in a panic over being entangled with the block tower. In Teapot 8, not only did she not care that Robot Flower was hurting people, but then she snapped at Basketball, yelling at her and blaming her. She was also mean to Marker and threw him away in disgust in Teapot 1. But oddly enough, Belle has this sweet charm to her character, like when she was controlling the submarine or when she was singing to keep the flower alive. Please sing to me, mommy.
Warm, you still stay toasty and
Bruh.
healthy.
Overall, Belle has many different emotional spikes that make her character an easy candidate for the gray area. Time to move on to Eggy. Eggy is interesting because all in all, I don't think she's entirely mean, she just gets offended easily. In Teapot 1, she immediately gets pissed off at Basketball for calling her ball-shaped. In Teapot 2, she gets super defensive against Winter for them seeing her revive Teardrop. In Teapot 3, she gets annoyed that Belle used the word scrambled. And Eggy's attitude and tone isn't very nice either. She always sounds slightly condescending.
You know those buttons don't do anything, right?
And she was kinda racist to machines. We will conclude this section with Pen. In Teapot 2 and 3, Pen worries about the team's integrity and fairness to others by calling out her team for cheating tactics. It shows she has high morals, but she's very aggressive and mean about it.
Pretending?
Pen at times is hypocritical and hateful. In Teapot 5, she calls Donut a nincompoop for his idea, but then goes ahead and tries to vacuum the ocean. In Teapot 7, she and Cooney start getting competitive and mess around, but then after throwing a damn moon at Cooney, she has the nerve to say Cooney's the one who needs to focus on the challenge. There is some good to her character, like in Teapot 9, she's saddened by Cooney's elimination. She's so loyal that when she sees his zombie form, she tries to help him. And she was kind and loyal to Death Pact after joining them. But also throughout her time on Death Pack, she got a bit more bossy and aggressive as she rushes and yells at her teammates in Teapot 14. But in the end, in Teapot 16, she gives Tree her token and says she enjoyed being on the team, so she ended on a high note. We'll now make the transition out of the gray area and towards the mean-spirited characters. These are the characters that are mean by nature, with terrible attitudes, insensitive mindsets, and shows very little, if not no kindness. Beginning our mean-spirited category will be Needle. Needle is one of the strongest and fastest characters in Teapot. Sometimes she uses it for good, like carrying her team or helping in the challenge, but sometimes she uses it to beat the hell out of people. In Teapot 5, she slaps Pin for not calling her idea great. In Teapot 8, she slaps Gady, even though Gady didn't even do anything, then slams Book back and forth repeatedly. In Teapot 12, she throws a tree at Pen and assaults Donut. And besides physical damages, Needle's attitude, especially beginning of Teapot, was always mean. She would be glaring and impatient towards her teammates. Coming after Needle is Rocky. If there are anyone right here, right now, that is offended that Rocky is here, I just gotta ask something. Do you like being puked on? Would you thank someone after they puked on you? Do you think it's okay to eat puke? Do you think forcing someone to eat puke and smiling about it is okay? God, need I say anything else, you sickos? Following up is Fries. Fries always looks annoyed. He's rarely ever smiling, he's never encouraging or kind to anyone. He's usually just bickering and nitpicking things, like in Teapot 4 he yelled at 2 for chewing gum and Ice Cube for being easily evaporated. In Teapot 5 he does stand up to Golf Ball.
That's the third time you've treated Puffball badly. Back off, Golf Ball.
Which you can respect, but then he and Puffball terrorize different teams, which is mean. Coming up next is Fanny. Fanny's whole gimmick is literally hating on every single thing. She has a terrible attitude and hurts people's feelings with her hateful words, like Cake in Teapot 2. Fanny is also very demanding and rude at times due to her tone, especially towards 2.
Hurry up! Put a stop to this already! I hate you!
But even in her hateful way, Fanny has shown to dedicate herself to saving lives for Death Pact, and she did calm down her friend Lightning.
I'll avenge you!
However, this leads to the conflict between Fanny and Black Hole. Fanny betrays the pact and starts to go on a craze of wanting to kill people, and yeah, I get it's to save herself from elimination, but Fanny seemed way too happy to kill Tree and laughs at Black Hole when Fanny gets her way. Evil Goofy eye laugh. But in the end, she does compromise with Black Hole. We also see Fanny take action against 1, and Fanny go into Tennis Ball to fix Robot Flower. The next character is Eraser. Eraser is a bully. He makes fun of people and thinks he's cooler than they are. He actually takes pleasure out of tormenting people. For example, in Teapot 2, he's laughing and rage baiting everyone and knocking their towers down, and he bullies Teardrop and becomes her rival. And once Teardrop leaves, Eraser immediately starts tormenting, or at least trying to torment Bottle, which shows just how much Eraser loves bullying people. Eraser also doesn't care how reckless he is with his behavior. In Teapot 3, while hunting down Teardrop, he kills people with a laser, one of which was his best friend. And in Teapot 7, he has no empathy towards Basketball when he demanded glue from her. We do see a good side to his character, like when he saved Teardrop in Teapot 8 and comforted her in Teapot 9 when she was eliminated, but other than that, he's just a straight up jerk to a lot of people with no remorse. Moving on down, we have Snowball.
What did you do?
Snowball is the most aggressive character in Teapot. He is very violent towards pretty much everyone, both physically and verbally. He hurts people for his own gain, like in Teapot 4 when he burned Grassy, and then he also hurts people for fun, like Grassy in Teapot 3. Wait, who's Snowball's closest friend in Teapot now? Snowball is also a downright racist. He discriminates against objects with no arms, which, I mean, for the object show universe, that's probably one of the most messed up things to do. Snowball has a huge ego, and anything helpful for his team or supportive is always to boost his ego rather than any moral obligation. Along with Snowball is Teardrop. Teardrop is a selfish, backstabbing, murdering contestant in Teapot. As soon as she got there, she immediately found ops and started shooting them with a laser, then manipulates Black Hole's no-killing policy. Then, in most of the other episodes, she minds her own business. I mean, in Teapot 5, she does lead Eraser to death by sea monster. In Teapot 8, though, she is an unforgivable jerk. After getting sick, Teardrop weakly lays idle, and at first, Eraser did try and eliminate her, but then he helps her out of kindness, and Teardrop, what does she do? Betrays him and tosses him down. That's heartless and cruel, man. In Teapot 9, she does sacrifice herself, I guess, to, stop the zombies, but it's like, okay, I get it, noble thing, but what else was Teardrop supposed to do? If Teardrop didn't help the cure, everyone would be dead, so no more Teapot and no more prize. But still, I don't even care. Teapot 9 does not forgive what she did in Teapot 8. Finishing off the mean-spirited is Golf Ball. Golf Ball is very bossy, controlling, and demanding of her teammates for her own gain to not get eliminated. Yet, she doesn't care about her team's well-being, as she only ever refers to their team name, "Are you okay?" rather than asking it. She makes a lot of condescending jabs at others that are weirdly personal. In Teapot 8, she disses Tree, calling him ugly, and starts smacking his face. In Teapot 13, Golf Ball rudely points out that Donut was a first boot when arguing with him. Golf Ball also treats everyone like objects to be useful. With Tennis Ball, she knows that he's kind and dependent on her, so Golf Ball uses this to her advantage. With Puffball, Golf Ball treated her badly by excluding her several times from challenges if she wasn't useful. Golf Ball also has a terrible attitude. In Teapot 5, when Pin tried to be positive, Golf Ball freaks out and hits him, then blames him for messing around. And finally, we're moving from mean-spirited to pure evil. These are the characters that have actions beyond simple meanness. They're not just jerks, they're monsters who have unforgivable behaviors, felonies, and war crimes that completely tarnish any redeeming qualities they might have. The first villain of pure evilness is Cloudy. Yeah, I know what most of you are thinking. Cloudy? Pure evil? But he's so friendly. He collects memories of the friends he made along the way. Nah, this dude is sick and twisted. This obsessive collecting has gone too far. It's absolutely disgusting. Not only is Cloudy a thief, since half of his collection is probably just stolen property, like in Teapot 2 he stole Remote's battery, but Cloudy is a human trafficker, a slave owner who wanted to take his collection to the next level and collect living things. He wanted to collect Winter as soon as he met him and then plays it off by nervously laughing. Winter probably would have been next in his collection if Cloudy wasn't eliminated. Moving down the list of evil, Cooney. Yeah, Cooney might be energetic, supportive, and nice on the outside, but let's not forget he ordered a world-ending bomb off of Yellowface's black market. I refuse to rank any quality about Cooney when he's pro-nuclear warfare. This dude is about to start World War III. I imagine he ordered it to use on Fiery, but it don't matter if it was just for one enemy, it's gonna start nuclear war. What do you think the Cold War was? Coming in 4th place is Puffball. Caused by jealousy and pettiness, Puffball turned the Teapot contestants into her own personal playground to gain attention. In Teapot 4, she pretends to be Lightning's friend sharing grief, but then suddenly attacks him, trying to steal his armband. Then Puffball randomly grabs Belle, scaring her by putting her on a deadly roller coaster and using her as a mere catapult. Puffball treats objects like, objects. She shoved Ice Cube into the ground and made this whole intricate, cruel plan of slowly killing Ice Cube into the funny plant. Only a sick, pure evil mind would be able to come up with something like that on the spot. Then she continues treating everyone like her personal playground as she flies around and terrorizes teams in Teapot 5, 7, and 8, giving the bronze medal of evilness to Yellowface. Yellowface is a con artist, putting countless in debt for his overly priced junk. There's people who are gonna have to live the rest of their lives paying Yellowface off for a scribble. He also doesn't care about people with his reckless behavior. He stole Ice Cube and Donut's limbs and then tried to steal Winter's arm with this gumball. Interesting. Why would he already have a gumball that steals limbs? Sure, maybe time to time he wants to feel what it's like to have them, but he's a business owner and arms and legs probably get pretty expensive on the black market, especially since there's so many objects without arms. Makes sense on how Yellowface was able to fund his enterprise by stealing and selling people's limbs for profit. And coming into second place is Pencil.
You're two, right?
Exactly right.
Howdy, A.
As soon as Pencil joins, she immediately disses 2. Like, what the hell? 2 was the one who gave you the chance to join in the first place. Literally, like, screw off, Pencil. 2 did nothing wrong to you. Then she slaps him. Who you trying to beef with? They'll kill you. Pencil is a perfect example of toxicity. She emotionally manipulated and pressured Book to join her cross-team alliance in extreme, horrible ways. And when that backfires, she's petty and attacks Price Tag for it. Then Pencil sabotages Book when she doesn't get her way in TPOT 17. In TPOT 15, she puts the entire universe at risk for her own gain. I get it's because she's scared to be eliminated, and I get she had no way of knowing this, but Pencil was the first one safe when they do eventually lose, so breaking the timeline was literally for nothing. In TPOT 16, she disregards all her teammates by calling them dead weight. Not only does Pencil throw them away to get further into the challenge, but Pencil disgustingly tries to justify it by saying she has more value in them. This superiority complex is sickening. This leaves only one person left. I think it's best with Pello to just run down every single bad thing she's done to win this gold medal of pure evil. She opens and reads Book without consent, basically a Book's version of sexual assault, tests Price Tag's intolerance to acid, says robot flower and trash are the same word, cheats in yo-yo chess, smashes Two's plates, happily tosses people off a building, blows up Bommy, tells Nickel to shut up, uses cake as a weapon against a dragon twice, eats cake, dreams of mass testing genocide to an entire population of contestants, encourages death to Fanny, kills Tree, wishes death by arson to Yellowface, mocks Cake during his elimination speech, gruesomely bashes Nickel to death, uses Book's dead body for armor, tears Price Tag in half, mocks Nickel's elimination that she caused, puts Bommy in a blender she's somehow constructed in Book's mind, calls Donut a terrible leader, tells Penn to shut up, shoves Donut and Golf Ball into the storm, tries to burn Winner to a crisp, clumsily causes the death of her entire team by playing on the bridge, throws Pencil into a lava monster, taste tests Donut after he was cooked, licks up Donut's remains off her face after he exploded, bashes Grassy to death using marker, mocks Robot Flower's elimination, attacks the OG contestants, eats gelatin, slices Blocky and Woody using Disky, calls 4 and X's cake the worst cake imaginable, I don't even want to know what happened here, rips Price Tag in half despite her pleas, and tries to knock Snowball off a tree to his death. All of which she does with a smile on her face with no remorse. She's constantly enjoying everyone's suffering and is excited to take notes on something only a psychopath would be interested in. Not only does Pello have the longest list of atrocities committed, but it's even scarier that she's done everything with no emotion. But I love Pello. She can burn me alive and I'd thank her. Maybe I'm totally biased here, but now that it's all said and done, is it really that big of a deal to kill people? There's a recovery center that constantly revives people. You're telling me if you were in a world that death is never permanent, you wouldn't want to kill someone with 0 consequences? Okay, maybe I sound like a psychopath too. Please don't report me.